It is time for Drytron against Tier 0 Maliss. They got the Fua, Ash, and Impermanence. We do have a Finger and a Triple Tactics talent, which can maybe return back one of those nasty hand traps. Now, if we use the Fua loss in the draw phase, it will play around the TTT. Ideally, for Fireblade, they use the full loss in the main phase, then we could, they have 2 Ash. So what do we even rip here? You would maybe, at best, return the Impermanence back or returning the backup. Backup or Imperm being returned back is going to be the best play for us. Begin.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Let's start this off with the preparations. We did not full loss in the draw phase, so we're not going to have a chance if he imperms this. And now we still can't use the triple tactics. We can't even use Call by the Grave. Does this actually end our turn? Oh my gosh, it ended our turn. No way. What the? Wow. Now, the backup that searches a Maliss will go to the graveyard and we could then finger it. But now they have 2 starters and 2 extenders. 2 starter extenders. 2 duo purpose. The most powerful thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a starter and extender in 1 card. Let's keep on going as we set up the MTP from the deck. We have not used up our normal summon yet. Let's link this off into Lingaribo for the non-existent traps that are here. Let's extend with the backup Ignister. Search on our deck for a Wizard. Very nice. Say goodbye to the full loss in hand that we didn't even need. Wizard is going to attempt to reborn. I think a good question is, if I finger your Dormouse, does Wizard still special summon? Let's read that. So Konami didn't even bother to program the effect in the duel log. If I highlight Call by the Grave, it says the effect. You highlight Wizard, it does nothing. You highlight Backup, it does nothing. If you highlight the White Rabbit, it does something. So they were too late. They're asking for your money, but they couldn't even update the duel log for either new card. Insane. Now, anyway, special summon both this card and that monster, meaning it's going to stay in the hand. You have to be able to summon both in order to summon the Wizard. Finger the door. And we are not able to summon both, so it is stuck in our hand. Would that mean Bestials could have some extra usage against the Wizard, possibly? Let's further go into the Red Ransom, Chainlink block with Link Decoder. What are we even talking about here? Let's just go into the inevitable lethal damage. Very nice. Boost, 53, non-target, wipe around the dead card there. Summon back the Red Ransom back on the feet. Yep, thank you. Game number 2. Well, we popped a triple tactics for game 1. Now knowing that they're playing that card, we're going to want to use the Fua loss at the draw phase, which I do like that benefit of a best of 3, learning from your opponent's deck within game 1. Let's Drytron, tribute off the Ben 10, searching for the Meteonis, triggering the Ben 10 to search. Well, you now don't search unless I finger that Droll, which of course we will do. Finger the Fool, negate. Wow, that was going to be big. Stopping the Ben 10 search, which will now be going through. We just have to play through Nibiru. Do we have a Nibiru play? What the heck was that? Fireblade searched for an artifact Lancia in his setting and passing. No way. You're doing more, right? Right? You even Link Reboot under full loss. He's got Call by the Grave. He's going to finger your Lancia, mate. What the? We went all out to search a Floodgate and for it to just get fingered. That is really unfortunate. We just have Forbidden Droplet now. Now, thankfully, they only have 1 starter. They don't have any other crazy plays. If we could stop that 1 starter with the Droplet, then we're great. No backup Ignister, no Field Spell, no Gold Sark, no Marchair, no Bestial. Tons of extenders within Maliss, and we have none of them in our hand. Now, we do still have our Nibiru and the Mouse and Mirror, so double disruption. The Artifact Lancia is trolling. There we go, starter off the top of the deck, Cyber Emergency, come to us, Drytron Alpha. We're going to Meteonis. We're going to tribute off the Alpha from Enhance since it reborns in Grave, reborning the Ben 10 onto the field. Use the Alpha to tribute off the Ben 10 to now search our deck for a Sarvis, but then we trigger the effect of Ben 10 for a normal summon play potentially. We're going to search a Ben 10, so we're not using up the normal summon yet. We're going to tribute off the Ben 10 and then summon to now, probably search for a Diviner to normal summon. The Diviner could pop a back row card. And the dude bluffed. We have a bluffed Lancia, which we may accidentally destroy. No, we're negating you. I'm not even taking the chance. Well, I did search for Sarvis. You're targeting me, and Sarvis says, negate a targeting effect, mate. Negate. Gotcha. As we still send Entis to pop an artifact. An artifact card is being destroyed from the back row, which triggers to reborn, but it got fingered, so it's negated. Let's now add back the Meteonis Drytron from Engrave. Let's make the Fafnir. We still have to worry about Nibiru. Let's activate Meteonis Drytron. We're going to chain the effect of Nibiru because we know that he probably wants to use the secondary effect of the beta, which allows you to detach Xyz materials to perform a ritual summon. Wipe the field. Now we can't summon our ritual boss, which has the effect of skip the main phase 1 of your opponent's next turn if we were to summon it. We're going to be tributing off the ritual from in hand to reborn the Gamma, which reborns another monster from Engrave, making Fucho, which is a great card for going into a Zeus. We're going to make it so it can't be destroyed by battle as we now go into the Downward and then a Zeus. We have a single field wipe. If they were to top deck a field spell, we could wipe it on activation. Let's do it. Fua freaking loss. Now, surprisingly, this is still a combo. You would think it's not, right? How do they have a combo? You normal summon Fua, you could then go into the Lizard Dose, or you can make a Link and then go into a Little Knight, and then you banish your White Rabbit and you full combo from there, but the Zeus is stopping them. So don't think that he doesn't have a play. He does have a play. It's the Zeus that's in the way. Wipe the field. And what the heck? We attached a Herald of Arc Light because a card was destroyed. You destroyed my token, so I trigger the effect to attach an Arc Light, and then I detach the Arc Light to now search my deck. That is crazy. Similarly to dumping it with a Diviner here. Alpha trigger off the Benten for sure. We win this. Oh my Jesus, let's freaking go. The disruption of Zeus was definitely mandatory to stop them from extending off of a freaking Fua loss. And now we just have to put up 8k damage under the effect of Fua loss. Summons from the graveyard will not result in drawing only from the deck and extra deck, but we are a Ritual deck. Ritual likes to summon from the hand, which you're not going to be able to draw off of that. GWC off the top of the deck, that is a brick. Let's reborn from in graveyard. Skip their main phase 1. There shouldn't even be a main phase, as we're just going to win the duel right here, right now, for over 9,000 damage. Lethal damage. Fireblade taking a decisive Game 2 victory. Well done. This is the old version of Drytron, it seems. You're saying he's not playing the new Drytron boss monster. It's got a double monster negate, right? Lancia. Finger the Lancia. And from there, we have full combo. Dormouse backup Ignister with nothing to stop it. Let's speed on through this and see what Yuri Evnet ends on. We had we drew with White Binder, we drew with the Heat Soul, we drew 2 with the Chessie, we're gonna draw again with the Binder, we're gonna draw again with the Heat Soul. Between 2 turns, we're drawing 6 times. What? 6 drawn cards are about to happen. We have 2 more cards that we're gonna draw into. We do have Ash, maybe we're gonna draw into a Maxi possibly, let's find out. Draw, okay, dead, see, balanced hand trap, full loss, very nice. Jack in the hand is going to reveal 3 as the opponent declares which one they want of the 3. Then we add among the other 2. We're going to attempt to summon the Alpha as the Apollo negates. Unfortunately, these are not quick effects. Otherwise, we could change the Apollo negating and then it would not be able to negate the other. Zeta is going to try to activate Apollo negate. What we're left with is the Gamma mate, as we're now going to chain GWC, reborn the White Binder, as he's thinking, hey, maybe I should banish those cards in grave before they activate. Let's get rid of the Altius and the Zeta. Very nice. March here, add back to the hand. Normally, you don't consider this to be a form of disruption, but against many different decks where they rely on the graveyard, being able to banish 3 cards in the grave whenever you freaking want, that is insane. Gamma's going to tribute off the Thubin, and don't forget, we have another negate. This negates anything. It negates and banishes. So while the Gamma is great in Graveyard, but now it's not going to even be in the grave. It's gone. It's banished. Yes. Let's go. Drytron tried. He did put up a good effort. I'm happy for that. Thank you. Also not surrendering. Real respectable. 6,300 but boosted. Access code talker. Wipe them out. Well done. Great. All right. Let's keep on going. Let's go. We have Max. We have Ash. What do I say to do? You offer up your Ash to your opponent for them to finger to protect your Max C. But they still did not finger our Ash. So what do you do if your Ash is not good enough to finger? I guess they finger your C then. Oh well. Alert negated with the Ash, Gold Sark banish, as we're now going to be activating the Max, and then Call by the Grave surely will be fingering us here. Mind you, we are a turn 2 deck, but even though we prefer to go second, generally turn 2 decks still need a board breaker to assist in their plays. We're going to see if we could top deck what. Oh, no. Yeah. He's like, even if I top deck a good board breaker, I'm not going to be able to beat this. Fluid loss. Is that worth crossing out? We're going to cross it out. Negate. Now, my wish for Master Duel is for the prevalence and relevance and power of Nibiru to skyrocket. I want everyone to be playing Nibiru like it's a mandatory 3 of. I love the idea of having to formulate the combos to play around Nibiru. I love watching people get blown out by Nibiru. And all I can say is I'm happy to see Nibiru right now. Unfortunately, on the side of Maliss, though, will we be able to properly play around it? Well, do we have any card to stop Nibiru? We have Apollo, which, I mean, we technically could have summoned at this point already. So the fact that Yuri Evna is holding onto Nibiru when an Apollo could be summoned, do we have a summon restriction here? We have some sort of restriction with the Neperum. The Neperum states that effect damage to your opponent is halved. So we don't have a summon restriction on the Apollo. We could summon it whenever we want. We're still going. He is probably on the resolution of the Fiendsmith Lacrima. That is when the Nibiru is going to happen. Desiree, or I guess you can kind of still wait because we didn't go into the Lacrima fusion, which would telegraph that we're going into Apollo. Bro, we waited way too long on that Nibiru. We could have summoned the Apollo much earlier, but still. All right, that now does nothing. Let's Dispersion search for the Neperum. Dispersion is activatable more than once per turn. You could use the fusion effect if you have the Gemini fusion engraved, which we do, and which is what we used earlier. And then you could use the search effect generally when it's your secondary activation or if you don't have the Gemini fusion. Let's now tribute off the effect of our Master Diamond Dispersion. Of course, we have Apollo 2. Negate. No Nibiru mate. Now, I believe we have a Graveyard Disruption with the Hollow Core. When your opponent activates a card or effect while you control a Gemini fusion, this maybe was another reason why we weren't activating Nibiru, which I should have looked more heavily into. At any point, if they were to Nibiru while we control a Gemini fusion, we could banish 3 Gemini cards from your graveyard, including this card, to negate the Nibiru, and then the Geminites gain 1,000. Was that the case when we had a good chance of Nibiruing? I'm not exactly sure. I have to rewatch it, honestly, but we do have that monster negate. We could Masquerena into double Old Night Banish. We could Desiree, non-target negate up to 2 cards. We could double monster negate with the Apollo with 6 forms of disruption. I'm not sure which one of these are forms of disrupt. We can, during the opponent's turn with the activated monster effect, you can target a face-up card the opponent controls and destroy it. That would be 7 disruption. What about this one? During the, nope, okay, 7 disruption. Now, technically 8 if we're super spicy. We could Desiree negate, then use Masquerena to link off the Desiree. Then Desiree will trigger to send a card from the field to the grave, giving us 8 forms of disrupt. Kid Art definitely wins this, right? Not even Maliss could stop this. What we have here is a starter, an extender, and another extender and starter. Let's Apollo. Negate the Chessy Cat. Do we have protection for the Apollo? We can at least force out the Masquerena if we try to go to the battle phase at least. No, I did not activate Masquerena. Goodbye to the Apollo. We're now down to 6 forms of disruption. As we are in main phase 2, March Hare, attempting to activate the Banishment Grave to extend. We lost one of our extenders, but we still have the other extension. Backup Ignister is the way, the play. Search our deck for a wizard, as we're now going to be discarding the March Hare, which was negated. Lacrima, is this our 9th form of disruption? Do we actually play Fiendsmith in Paradise? It looks like we do. No, we don't. Okay, so we didn't have an extra one. We have Wizard reborning the March Hare from Engrave. Maybe we want the Masquerena ready to make a Goddess. Do we play Goddess? Oh, my Goddess is not in our extra deck. We're going into the Red Ransom, Chainlink Block with the Link Decoder, which would Chainlink Block an Apollo or an Ash. Reborn back. As we now search our deck for a further extender. If we were to completely stop whatever field they're making, they could extend with the field spell. Now, the Desiree would be able to stop the field spell. We are going to be banishing from either graveyard, say goodbye to the Engraver and the Hollow Core. We already activated the Hollow Core, and now we're firing off the Masquerena without using the negate of the Desiree. Thus, we don't gain that additional form of disruption, as we have a Little Knight double banish and the Desiree. That is it for our disrupts. We have banish. We have 2 more disruptions. We have a negate and a chain banish. Well, no, we still have the Gem Knight Lady Rose also, which does not work against an access code talker, right? Let's read this. During your turn when the opponent activates a monster effect, you could chain to the effect to then destroy access code talker, but you can't respond to this. And you also can't chain Little Knight banish it, but the Desiree can negate it on the resolution with your toggle on only so that it does not pop cards you control. So after gaining, we have to negate with the Desiree. Toggle on only works. Well done. We're still banishing by cost to trigger the effect of the White Binder to summon and then draw a card. We have Little Knight and Chain Destroy. We had 8 disruptions, and I don't think it's enough. We're now down to the last one, and they're still extending with the Mouse and Underground. Mouse in the Mirror, if we had Ash, this would have been great. Let's add the March Hare, which has already been activated this turn. Add back another March Hare. Let's flip up the GWC. We already used the effect of Binder. Binder's not coming back. Dormouse, we could have chained the Lady to destroy a face-up card. When exactly we're going to use this? Monster activates, you then banish a Gem Knight from the grave to target a face-up card to destroy. Splash Mage, maybe? No? When do we want to use this? I guess we're just holding. Heat Soul, draw a card. All right, I mean, they didn't end on anything crazy. 7 to 8 disruptions was in fact enough to stop them from lethal damaging us. Max C. Now we're gonna use the... I'm so stupid, I'm sorry. This only works on your own turn. Whoops. During your turn, when the opponent activates a monster effect, the other effect was during the opponent's turn when a Gem Knight would be destroyed. So this was never a form of disruption. It sucks much worse than I thought it did. We're going to Heat Soul, draw a card. So we only had 6 to 7 disruptions. Let's get activating. Wait, this is more than once per turn. This is actually pretty cool on your own turn. Not hard once per turn. Anytime they activate, we pop a face-up card. I didn't like it. Now I like it. We popped 2 cards with this. Okay, nice. We took out a Heat Soul. We took out an Access Code Talker with it. Little Knight is going to chain banish itself, plus the March Hare. March Hare will just add back to our hand a Banished Mouse card, which does not have to be the March Hare itself. We have Red Ransom, Reborning, Red Ransom, triggering, White Rabbit, further triggering, Chain Link Block in the Red Ransom. We're going to, for the 3rd time, Rose Diamond is completely annihilating the field. In response to any monster effect, we are able to banish from the grave to destroy a face-up card. It doesn't even have to be a face-up monster. We have the Desiree. On the higher chain link, we're going to be negating the MTP and the Red Ransom. No non-target banish here. Wow. Kid Art, you're making me want to play some Gem Knight. This is cool. We're going to additionally summon the Nephilim, searching for a Dispersion with the Gem Knight Fusion in Graveyard, which we don't have. That, I think it got banished by the Binder. Is that what happened? Or did we banish it ourselves? Only the Gem Knight Fusion in Graveyard can the Dispersion use your deck for Fusion summoning. The star card here was actually the Lady Rose, especially on our own turn. Being able to pop 3 freaking cards, that is crazy. Unfortunately, does nothing during the opponent's turn. Now, that was all fun while Gem Knight was able to go first and wanting to go first. What happens when Maliss now gets to go first? We do have Lancia, and they have no way to stop the Lancia, but they do have a Wizard. So while we're not able to use the Dormouse to banish the deck, we can link it off and then extend with the Wizard. We have at least something. The Lancia will not be enough to completely stop them. We ideally use this in the draw phase, though. Thank you. Because if you don't, you're going to wait for them to allure. They draw 2, you chain Lancia, that sucks. Lancia no longer by itself can fully tank Maliss. Like, this is absurd. We have 3 monsters after using Lancia. Before this update, Lancia was enough to end their turn. They would only have 1 body on the field. They couldn't do anything with the Bystials. They can't do anything with the March Hare if you use the Lancia correctly. But now we have this situation. Red Ransom, activate, reborn, back onto the field, mate, as we're going to be searching for a Maliss in Mirror. Let's go. We can even make an Apollo off of this. Let's splash mage it up. Splash. We weren't locked in, right? Were we? Actually, the Wizard did lock us out of Apollo. We were locked into Cyrus only. We're going to imperm negate the splash mage, which is crazy that we needed impermanence in addition to the Lancia because it obviously is not enough. Now with this, we do have the Maliss and Mirror being able to banish the March Hare. And the March Hare could banish the Red Ransom, which could banish a White Rabbit, which could then banish a card in the field through setting the MTP. This looks like 1 disruption, but it's actually 2. We still got 2 forms of disrupt. Tracked out from the deck are Lurie. 3 nib over 3 lances. You think that's better to play now, right? Just what do you all feel like the usage of Lancia for you is going to be? Are you going to take Lancia out? Lancia is still good enough to side deck, but we don't have a side deck. Is it good enough to main deck? There are many cards good enough to side deck that we don't play in Master Duel, but I do feel like Lancia is entering the territory of being a side deck card only and probably not good enough to main deck. Let's now Maliss in Mirror. Negate the sequence here. Banish the March Hare, add back to the hand. There was already enough people not playing Lancia when it was better than it is. We're going to Hollow Core, send a Gemini Fusion to the graveyard, which now allows the Dispersion to use the deck for our Fusion Summon play. Let's Quartz it up. Quartz search our deck for the Dispersion for that exact play. Let's now set up the MTP way. Banishing the Mirror. Woo! We got greedy. We played into an Ash. We did not have to play into an Ash. Well, now the MTP would get negated by Ash, but at least we'd have more bodies in the field. Either way, Ash stops the MTP or it stops the Maliss and Mirror, stopping them from non-targeting, banishing us here. We needed Lancia. We needed Imperm. We needed Ash. We needed all 3 hand traps plus a good follow-up play, and we now have a good chance of winning. We have Neprim being sent to the grave off of the Dispersion using the deck, triggering to reborn itself back in the field. Quartz, add a card from the grave back to the hand, then discard a card, right? Yep. Discard the Hollow Core after adding. I guess we're just chainlink blocking. Neprim searching for another Dispersion, which has the secondary effect of searching our deck. Come to me, Armadillo. We didn't even normal summon yet. The Saffronite also allows an additional normal summon as we grab a Neprim from the deck. Let's activate the Gemini Fusion, adding back from the grave to our hand. Let's link this all up into a massive Apollo USA 2400, not that massive, triple monster negate. Quartz is going to fuse using the banishment in graveyard. Now, the Dispersion Master Diamond could summon up to 3 bodies, right? Why we only summon 1? Summon up to 3 non-rock gems with different names from your extra deck and or graveyard, but we just summoned the Rose Diamond. Not enough for lethal damage, 1400. Why did this only summon 1? I'm not really understanding why. Send this card, special summon up to 3, and then we only summoned 1, and then I guess we would have had a game, right? If we summon another one, do we not play enough? We don't play enough because this is not a pure Gemini deck. We don't have room in the extra deck. Instead, we have a bunch of other cards. Allure of Darkness, Hollow Core negates anything. The opponent activates anything while you control a Gemini Fusion. You can negate that anything with the Hollow Core from Engrave. And it is banishing by cost, I believe, so you can't even finger it. You have to preemptively finger it. Apollo's going to further negate the March Hare. Let's Wizard, change the battle position of a monster. This is a troll effect that does nothing. Wow. Gemknight beat Tier 0 Maliss. Lancia, Imperm, Ash, and then a good follow-up play. Well done. Kid Art, let's freaking do it.